Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
Welcome to episode 322, Looky Loos.
Looky Loos.
Looky Loos. So I was like, Looky Loos, because you wrote down Looky Loo, L-O-U, like a person's name, Lou.
Right.
And I was like, is that what it is? But it's actually L-O-O.
Lou. Loos.
Which is an informal and often disparaging term that refers to a person who is idly curious or stops to stare at something.
Idly curious.
Sounds
That's
right.
The perfect word. Definition.
Yeah, and it originated this term in the US in the 70s, and I just was cracking up because it's like an inquisitively curious or prying person.
I just want to go see this house. I don't want to buy it. I just want to go see it.
And actually in the Google definition, it was like a potential home buyer or shopper who isn't serious about making a purchase. This is a frequent use in the real estate and retail industries to describe people who browse out of curiosity rather than an intent to buy.
Whoa.
So it's legit. We don't know really where it came from that I could find. And it is describing a nosy or inquisitive person, especially a peeping Tom.
Ew, dear.
Dear. The expression seems to have come from California. Regardless, I thought it was cracking. It was just making me laugh.
Looky Loos.
Looky Loo. And what I'm not going to do is read it in the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, don't do that.
But maybe later just for fun.
Well, we had several listener questions pertaining to this episode. The first one was just, how do you deal with looky loos? Those people who want to be buyers but are either not qualified or just not ready. They just want to look at property to see what's out there.
They are a textbook looky loo.
You know what's interesting? So I've been in real estate since 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And I have probably had, I would say maybe 6 or 7 buyers that lingered for years.
Yeah.
Some of them did eventually close.
Mm-hmm.
I have one in process that I'm going to share. We have stories. How do you want to start? I can share. I can read our listeners' story.
Hold on. Let's just back up really quick. We asked for listener Q&A questions.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to do a Q&A episode, and we just had so many questions about
looky loos.
about this particular buyer behavior and other said tricky buyer behaviors.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up on just looky loos.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, you know what? Let's just talk about this. Feeling like something might slip through the cracks in your transactions?
Not anymore. We've got you covered with the Hustle Humbly Buyer and Seller Transaction Checklist.
They walk you through every step from pre-listing or pre-offer all the way to post-closing.
These checklists can be used however you need. Uploaded to your CRM, a transaction management software, your Trello, or even handed to an office admin or your assistant.
So you stay organized, deliver consistent service, and never miss a beat.
Whether you're brand new or a seasoned pro, these checklists help you work smarter, not harder.
Get yours at hustlehumblypodcast.com/checklist to run your business with confidence and ease. But I think you can, do you want to start us with your story?
My story? Or
Yeah,
our listener story?
Or I can tell you with my longest looky loo.
You go.
Okay. I would consider my dad.
Your dad?
Yeah, to be my longest looky loo.
Okay.
We have transacted together.
Okay.
On multiple occasions, okay?
Great.
We have done listings, we have done purchases, but he is the singular buyer client I have that will just text me and be like, how much is this? Oh, that's too much. What about this? Oh, no, okay, this. What about this? Like it's like I am real estate Google for him.
Right.
Or Zillow.
Yeah.
But he's always just looking.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to look and I just want more information and I'm just looky-looing all the time.
I see.
He's a permanent looky-looer.
I see.
He might at some point buy something and has in the past. But I just think it's funny that I'm like, what now?
What's he need?
What do you want? And I'm sure everyone has those.
Yeah.
Like the person, and it's great to be a resource. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously want to work with my dad.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But it's just funny because you do have some of those people in your sphere and in your database who are just constantly like, what about this? What about this? And I have had past clients contact me and be like, look, I'm really interested in this house, but I just don't know if we're really ready to buy right now. And they'll kind of give the spiel. And depending on the house, sometimes I'll be like, well, I like you. We're friends and I want to see you. And I don't mind seeing a house on a Sunday with someone I like.
Sure.
So I'm like, yeah,
Let's go see it.
But I went into it knowing we were looky-looing.
Yeah. It's helpful when you know.
Yeah. You don't want to be strung along.
Correct. That's when and okay, this is a good segue into our listener's story.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, she said, how do you deal with clients that are casually looking but not serious? For example, I've been an agent for 20 years now, and I'm a top agent in my area. When I was fairly new in the business, I met these clients and I sold their house, and they bought a new one, but the new one is not exactly what they had been looking for. I showed tons of houses and walked many acres of land before they finally found something. They wanted acreage, so it was very hard to find, and so they ended up buying a house in a neighborhood. Over the next maybe 5 to 7 years, she would send emails asking for information on every land property they found that they were remotely interested in. This often resulted in me having to do research, sending documents, tracking down deeds, restrictions, all the things. And eventually, me having to show them all the listings and walk the acreage. They did eventually buy, but it legitimately took me about 7 years total. It was pretty on and off, but still a long time. Fast forward, it's been years since they bought, and I really didn't do a great job keeping in touch, rightfully so. And now she's sending me land listings again. Of course, she wants me to do the research, answer questions, the whole 9 yards. I'm spending a good chunk of time on this multiple times a week. I'm having PTSD from the past when this went around the first time, but I also don't want to lose out on a potential sell. How do you handle these types of things? I know they aren't ready and probably not even soon. I do get frustrated with the amount of work, especially knowing that it took me years to get paid last time. Luckily, she hasn't asked to see any, but I know it's coming.
Okay, I have so many thoughts.
So do I. I think this is a great case study.
For sure. First of all, this person did transact with them multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think 7 years is a long time to kind of go back and forth? Yes. However, they did buy.
Mm-hmm.
So they were a legitimate buyer.
Sure.
But I feel like when I think about you and your process, or even, like what I do with a buyer, when they give you a list of houses and then you start qualifying them.
Yes.
I think that it would be worth having an honest conversation with this now 2-time past client and being like, hey, I am so excited to work with you again. I know it took us a long time last time to find what you were looking for. Do you just give me some, I guess, advice on where you're at. If we found the right thing tomorrow, are you really ready to buy? If not, what are you thinking is your actual time frame? And then I would really want to ask them, what are the deal breakers? And this agent needs a list of the deal breakers. And what is ever the easiest thing to look up? That's the first thing I would look for.
Yes, so that's excellent advice.
So if they send me a new listing, instead of me spending hours pulling every document and doing all this research, just find the easiest deal breaker first and then let them know before you start digging deeper.
Yes.
I'd almost qualify their deal breakers into, I don't know, it's in a flood zone, or it's this, or it's that. And then she can start checking. And then as soon as she gets to one of the deal breakers, she can let them know, hey, it's this, this, this. I'll pull more information, but you said these were your deal breakers.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. That's great advice.
We have to eliminate some of the work.
Yeah.
Twice a week is too much to be pulling multiple plat maps or survey or whatever she's doing. I don't even know what state this is in. That's too much.
It is a lot of
work.
work.
For 7 years or even 2 years, that's too much.
The main thing that I wrote was say what you need to say. At some point, and she said she's 20 years in the business, top agent in her area, so I can relate to her workload. And one of the things that caught my attention was I would first like to say, as I am also becoming an experienced agent that can be more selective, it's not that I consider myself too good to work a certain price point or too good to go too far away.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's that it's actually becoming a business decision for me.
You can't have time for everything.
I can't do it all. I have children. So I do have to be selective. And at some point I have to say, because you're looking in this parish and I don't go that far, and because that's your price range, the amount of times I would be going there, the gas, the mileage, you and I would both be better if I referred you to someone that works that area.
Yeah.
I know she's not talking about geographics here, but my point in this is saying I admired that she is handling this as a business decision.
Right.
I think sometimes even agents get so emotional saying, I'll help anybody and everybody become a home buyer. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But at some point when you do become a top producer and you get really busy, you can only take on so much.
Yeah. The other weird thing I noticed in this particular case study was that she was walking a lot of property with these people. And I think I would also, and I don't even know what market this is. I would start calling listing agents and being like, hey, I have a buyer client. They're interested in the property. I have sent them the additional information. Is it okay if they walk it alone?
The land.
Right.
We're not going in houses alone.
Yeah. Am I all right to just send them to walk around? They're going to go on, Sunday or whatever.
Yeah.
And that way you're eliminating that time spent doing that. Because as an agent, if it's not my listing, I'm just as clueless as the buyer if I'm walking on an open piece of land.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know anything.
I have a buyer recently who needed a spot for an RV.
Okay.
I was getting a little frustrated because it was hard to the MLS, and really there's no search feature that would narrow it down for their very specific need.
Yeah.
Because even if the lot was the right size, we would get there and it was too close to the neighbor, or it sloped, or the configuration of the house on the lot didn't work. And it was like, we would go to some. And after the third one, where after seeing the outside shoot, like we literally parked the car, got out, I'm opening the lockbox, and she walks up to me and says, this one won't work. And I'm just like, well, we need to go inside. The sellers cleaned their house. Yeah. We're here. Let's go inside. I'm going to leave feedback. I'm going to be respectful. But I told her, I said, listen, because the exterior is so important to you, I want you to start doing some drive-bys.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 appointments that you wanted to cancel when we got there.
Right.
And this just isn't working out. So what we're going to do is you're going to start driving by some.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if it's a hot property, day 1 on market, we need to rush.
Right.
I'm fine to still come meet you.
Yeah.
But it seemed as though you are eliminating so much without me.
Visually.
So and she actually was like, that makes sense. Of course,
she didn't even consider it.
I said it very kindly. I'm not like,
Thank God.
But I will say, so there was this one that popped up, and this was the first one since we'd had the conversation.
Okay.
I said, hey, based on the photos, based on the lot, I even thought about maybe this is the one I need to go to because I think it could be the one.
Right.
I genuinely was excited about it.
Okay.
Well, it had a driveway gate. So I messaged the agent and was like, hey, I know this is a weird request, but my clients really are interested in seeing this house, but they only want to see the backyard first. I've offered to show it to them. But they just want to do a quick drive-by before wasting anyone's time. How would your seller feel about leaving the driveway gate open this weekend from like 4 to 5? She's like, oh, no problem. Let me call. She's like, that'd be totally fine. The gate will be open. They can come take a peek at the backyard. I get a text at 4:30. Not going to work. It's whatever. I'm like, okay, well.
Okay.
Fine.
Great.
I didn't have to go.
Seller didn't have to leave?
No, seller didn't have to leave. The listing agent greatly appreciated that there was some sort of interest in the home.
Yeah.
I communicated, and I told the agent, I'm happy to just make an appointment if your seller is uncomfortable doing that. Not a problem. So there are things that you can do to sort of help manage that client. But here's what you said in response to her, which I had in my notes was, if you're wondering in your head or you know what needs to be said, but you're afraid, find the kindest, most professional way to say it. You have to say it. You have to say and point out, hey, listen, the first time that we did this, it took 7 years. And I know that was hard on you.
Yeah. Phrase it that way for sure. That's
a lot of work. It's hard to always be living in limbo.
Yeah.
Like, have you made sure that you know what your price range is, that you know what your budget is? Have you talked to a lender? Do you know if you have to sell your current land to buy the new land? Like, we are not jumping into the weeds until we're closer. And it's okay to tell them, okay, well, if they say, well, I'm not quite ready to talk to a lender yet, I would say, well, then it sounds like you're not quite ready to actually start looking.
Right. And I also think it's okay to be honest about how long it takes you to do the research they're requesting.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just wanted to let you know it takes me a couple of hours to research each of these properties. So if it's not really if you're just kind of interested, just let me know. I don't have a limitless supply of time.
And then as you get more ready,
we can
dive
deeper.
in.
Yes.
We can dive in.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy to help. And guess what? Buyers are going to be like, I don't want to lose them though. I don't want to lose them though. You're not firing them, but you are conducting your business like a business.
Right. You're giving them the rules.
And if they don't want to follow those rules, you have to be at peace. If 5 years later you see they bought a house with another agent,
and I saved 4 hours a week for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Be okay with it.
I'm totally okay with it.
The point is that you are your business. You are the boss. You have standards, and everybody's standards and everybody's hours are different.
Yeah.
A new agent versus a seasoned agent could have different business hours, could have different standards, could have different processes.
Yeah.
Whatever your processes are need to match your client. If they don't work out, maybe it is time to refer them out, part ways. I have one right now, and it's this couple. I adore them. I love them so much. They've been a part of my family's friends for my whole life. They're the kindest, sweetest, most grateful people. The problem is when a house pops up, they want to go immediately. And it has been very stressful for me. And I even had lunch with my dad and was like, hey, I think I'm going to refer so-and-so. And he was like, oh. I was like, they're not being difficult at all. They're actually very kind and thank me so much. But I feel bad because when something pops up, they need to go then. And I'm rarely able to just go then. And look, they're pre-approved. They did all their homework. They did everything, but they're stressing me. And I'm having to evaluate, is it worth my stress? I also don't want them to feel negative towards me. Like, well, she's never available.
Yeah.
Like I am available, but I just need a little bit of notice for life. I have life and business. And so I'm actually in the process of referring them out because I also don't want them to feel negatively towards me.
Are it sounded like they were a buyer and seller?
Just a buyer.
Just a buyer.
Yeah,
okay.
This would be a second little home for them. But it's like, this was a really hard decision for me, and I still haven't fully made it. I haven't made it.
Told it yet.
I just had lunch with my dad yesterday and told him. I actually felt like I needed to tell him first.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be fine. I think they'll actually maybe even appreciate it.
I'm sure.
I'm going to find them the best agent that lives so close to where they're looking.
I love it.
It's going to be amazing.
Okay, great. I love that. Should we do another?
Yes.
All right. I was just wondering what kind of system you have in place for this type of situation when you don't want to lose a deal, but you also don't want to spend years working with somebody before getting paid. Oh, that's it. This is part of her.
It was actually a different person.
Wait.
Isn't that crazy? That's why we're doing this episode, because our listeners had so many.
Yeah, because you spend years working with somebody before getting paid and wasting so much time on people that aren't really serious yet.
Yes, this came in
more than once.
Much.
Okay. What's your final say?
Okay, I have another story.
Great, can't wait.
I went back in preparation for this episode, and I actually hated to do it because I have this set of buyers that just...
Currently?
Uh-huh. They pop in and they're like a tornado and they send me 9 houses that they want to go see. And I'm like, I haven't talked to you in 6 months.
You're like, okay. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Here we go. And I'm constantly reining them in. They seem like they, as a couple, are not sure what they're doing.
Okay.
They don't know what they're looking for.
All right.
I decided in preparation of this episode to go back and find our first email together to see.
You have never transacted with these people?
Never transacted.
Just a buyer?
Yes.
And?
As I was typing in her email, I actually didn't want to see it. I'm like, how long have I given these people? Our first email together was October 2020.
5 years.
5 years ago. And when they first came to me 5 years ago, They were looking and like the $250,000 price point.
Okay.
And I was going through our old emails and I'm just going, as I'm doing this, I'm going, Alyssa, what are you doing?
What are you hanging on to?
What are you hanging on to? So I did a lot of the color coding. She would send me so many houses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you even find this many houses in such a low inventory market?
Yeah.
I would take a good 2 hours to pull every single property disclosure, looking for the deal breaker.
Yeah.
I was color coding the red ones. I would have some in orange that were like,
maybe.
And then like 2 greens.
Okay.
So I did this for years. Then it looks like per my email chain, we did take a little break and then they came back and she was sending me houses that were like $650, to which my response was like, and she's like, here's what was funny to me. She just pops in after being gone for a year, okay? And is like, hey, Alyssa, can you send me notes on these houses? Let me know when you're free to go look. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no. How have you been? Sorry, we've been gone. Sorry, we've been, da-da-da-da-da. Nothing. Just jumps right back in like nothing has happened. Fine.
Okay.
Nice. And look, they're sweet and nice, okay? But I'm trying to just control the chaos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my first thing was, hey, this is significantly different than the search I have set you up on. Can you help me understand what has changed? I also need an updated pre-approval letter.
Fair.
And I'm thinking to myself, that'll put an end to it.
No, it did not.
Within 5 hours, an updated pre-approval comes
for $650.
And I'm going,
Sweet.
well, okay, at least I'm going to like make this worth my while after all this time.
Okay.
She's like, well, now a family member may be living with us, like a elderly parent.
Sure.
Like,
that makes sense.
Because of that, we're going to have some help with the purchase and we also need something bigger.
Different. Okay.
So, round 4 of looking at houses with them comes and we start looking. Well, then she starts sending me houses that are like 400 that no longer match the realm of possibility of someone living with you. So again, I say, hey, I noticed these do not match what we have been looking at.
Yeah.
Help me understand. Well, now we're not sure if they're going to live with us at all. Now we're not sure this or that. And I'm like, okay, well, it sounds like we might need to take a break until you know.
Yeah, you can't buy one if you need the other.
How can we possibly make a decision if we don't know?
Yeah.
And she was like, that's actually a good point. I need to talk to my husband and we need to figure this out. And that actually gave us a break. I didn't hear from them for a little while. Then my jaw almost dropped. So there was like a lapse between I didn't hear from them. August 2024 comes along where the new BBA comes into effect.
Great. Got it.
I had emailed like everybody I was currently working with, including them.
Oh.
Like all the people.
Anyone.
The Looky Loos, the Lingerers, anybody that was in my Trello.
They got the email.
Anyone that was in my Trello got an email that said, hey, I'm so excited to continue working with you as of August 2024 to show you a home. You will have to sign a form first. I know this is new. I have attached the form just for you to review. I can send it to you electronically before our next house hunt. I just wanted to make sure you saw it.
Okay.
She never responded. This was during our break. Well, then they come along and she's like, hey, we went and saw this house and we actually made an offer on it, but it didn't work out. And I just went,
Come again?
What? Like, no. Like, I'm not. And
what did you do?
I said, okay, help me understand.
We've said that a lot.
Because we have talked. Now, here's the other problem with buyers that linger this long. The buyer consult that we did in 2020.
They don't remember.
The buyer rules.
It's all changed.
Of it. It's all, they have forgotten everything. Okay. She's like, well, my cousin got his license. And my mom was like, come on, give your cousin a chance. But she's like, my husband's really not pleased with how it went at all. And I'm like, okay.
Do we know what price range the house they made the offer on was?
Here's what's so funny. The husband actually then, for the first time, inserts himself into the conversation.
Okay.
Calls me directly and is like, I told her, because I said, y'all, this is how working with an agent works. I have worked with you for many, many years. I have sacrificed a lot of weekends and time with my family. And I know sometimes buyers forget how this works, but this is a business for me.
Yeah.
And while I love hanging out with you guys, it is a business for me.
Right.
And if you're going to be calling other agents, I just can't help you.
Right.
Have you signed something with this agent? Because if so, and I was literally like, just go with that agent.
We're done.
Go with agent. And that's what I said. Go with that agent. That's when husband calls me. Husband's like, no, I'm not pleased. He did not help us at all. Da 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 da. I'm like, tell me about this house. I said, I can't help you with it because the other agent wrote offers, did the work. I said, so on this house, if this is the house for you, I can't help you.
Yeah,
just go work with that other agent. It's okay. I'm not going to go out and just do your thing.
Yeah,
I don't have anything signed with you. He said, well, her cousin let us sign a one-time, one-show form.
Okay.
And so that's expired. I can send you a copy of it.
Great.
We would like to still work with you. I'm like, well, tell me what happened with this house. He's like, they offered $400,000 on a $600,000 house. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. If these are the type of offers you're going to ask me to write, I'm not going to write them. That I looked at the comps. I said, at a minimum, that house was worth $575,000. I would have never written the offer. I probably would have just told you, I don't think that we're a good fit together.
And what did he say?
He was like, see, this makes sense. He never gave us any guidance or direction. She just said to write an offer for $400,000 and he did. I'm like, well, that seller probably really dislikes you now.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, it was just, at this point, I was trying to say,
I think you were giving them lots of outs. Just go.
Just go stay with this agent. But the husband at this point was like,
he's like, no.
And so I'm trying to think what happened next.
Did you
that
get him
offer didn't work out.
Did they sign a BBA?
So I had the conversation with the husband and things went radio silent for a minute. Mm-hmm. Then that house that they liked went pending. Mm-hmm. And I messaged the agent. He messaged me and said, well, I guess that house went pending. I was like, yeah, it did. And so I messaged, he was like, I wonder if it's going to fall through. I'm like, I messaged the agent. I said, I know you can't tell me what it sold for. Can you tell me if it started with a 5 or a 6, your contract? He said it started with a 6. I said, that's all I needed to know. Thank you. I messaged the buyers back. Listen, guys, it started with a 6. It's out of the question. Even if you were willing to go to 550, they're not going for it. It's not the right price point. So then insert another break for about 2 months.
Wow.
Short break, but a break. I don't hear from them. And here's the thing. I'm not reaching out either.
Now you're like, whatever.
I'm not reaching out. So then just recently, she literally sends me an email that made me want to pull my hair out. It was like 12 houses. Hey, Alyssa, let me know when you can show us these. So I sent an email.
What did it say?
I said, hey.
I'm not loving this, by the way.
Me either. And I feel like because it's gone on for so long.
It's the law of diminishing returns.
Yes.
You're like, I've already put in all this work.
Yes.
I should at least get paid.
Yes.
And then it keeps on going and going and going.
Yeah.
All right. But so what did this say?
I basically just said, listen, after how things went last time, I'm needing to make sure we are all on the same page. I am not going to write offers tremendously below market value. There are agents that will do that for you. I'm not one of them. Here are the notes on these houses. I did go through all 12 and make notes.
Okay.
I said, if you want to tell me what your top 3 are, I will show them to you. Here are my available dates. I will also send you the buyer rep agreement to sign. And if you're good with that, sign it and tell me what date works for you, and I'll go show you these houses. I send the buyer rep agreement electronically. Husband signs immediately. This was about 3 weeks ago. She has not signed it. To this date. And they have not responded to that email.
We don't work together anymore.
So husband signed. She has not. They did not respond to that email picking a date that worked for them. To be continued. I'm sure they'll be back.
I feel like she's saying it all by not responding.
But here's the thing. I'm at the point where I'm going to tell them how it is. I'll show you 3 on these dates.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, you may call another agent.
Yeah, we're not tied to each other. They never signed the BBA.
They never did. And at some point, I have to be like, and they have pushed me to this point of saying, I'm running the show more than ever.
Yeah.
Usually, I'm always the boss.
Right.
I feel like I do a good job of that, but this has gotten out of hand over time. So I'm back to being like, no, the top 3. If you hate the top 3, the bottom 9 weren't going to work out.
They don't matter.
They don't matter. So let's just go see the 3 best ones.
Were they in a rental?
No, I think they're just comfy in their first home.
Yeah, like
It's not a motivated
this is
situation.
Just how they spend. When you were telling the story of them, it kind of reminded me of what do people say when they're like in bed? You see those memes and they're scrolling Zillow. They're like Zillow surfing.
Yes.
It's just what she's doing for fun.
I think so.
I think so.
I don't think they're on the same page with what they want. They don't know if the family member is going to live with them or not. But also, any buyer that wants to go see 10 houses, I'm like,
look, the only buyer that should be asking you to show 10 houses is a relocator from out of state that's going to be there for the weekend.
Yeah.
And they have to move for their job starting in 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only people allowed to say, I need to see all of these 10 houses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think this question goes along with that a little bit. I have buyers that are so incredibly picky. Like it's miserable. How do I rein them in? What do we do?
When they're so picky, make them drive by first.
Yeah, I think you got to
look for the deal breakers.
But if they're so picky, none of the houses ever work. Surely at some point they give up, right?
I don't know. Maybe they go on for 7 years.
We don't want that. Is not what we're encouraging here.
No,
this is not what we're encouraging.
But it happens sometimes.
I think that it's the exact opposite of Looky Loo. Looky Loo wants to see everything. It's all fine. I'd like to see it all. The incredibly picky people are like, maybe they do still go see, but they're like, oh, well, this carpet is blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me get you a price on carpet is not expensive.
Yeah.
Change that stuff out. But I think if you have people who are being really picky and making it hard on you, you need to have more deep conversations.
Yeah.
I think you need to say, listen, it seems like what's available in the market does not meet your specifications. I'm not sure if making a purchase is something that's going to work out for you if we don't change what we're looking for.
Right.
Right. Like if you're not willing to go up in price or compromise on something, like no house is perfect. Even one that you build from scratch will not be perfect because depending on your budget, maybe it's not on as big of a lot as you'd like. Maybe you couldn't make it as large as you want. Maybe you couldn't afford that high-end, marble that you love. Like you don't get everything you want.
No.
Not unless you have a limitless budget.
When my kids are fighting in the back seat, I play the song really loud. You can't always get what you want.
Yeah, you can't. But I honestly think that sometimes buyers believe that there's this magical house out there that fits all their specifications in their budget. And it's just a matter of you finding it, the agent. You've got to go find it.
Right. It's your job.
And I think sometimes you need to say, hey, what you're looking for actually doesn't exist in our market.
I have one buyer that I had to say that to that listened. His name was Erwin, and he was so sweet. I wanted to find him a house so bad.
You're like, I want this for you, Erwin.
I did. I might have wanted it more than he did for him. I wanted to get him out of his mom's house. He was 34. Like, I was trying to help him, okay?
I'll do anything I can for you.
I know, and I just thought he was precious, and he was an analytical guy, very into the numbers. And this was in 2018, 2019. We worked together for like a year, but he never bought, never transacted. His budget, he wanted to stay at like 175, which was hard, but possible in 2018.
Okay.
But it got to where I had him on a search, and we went initially and looked because it was like, oh, options. And then after walking through, he realized, oh, no, if these are my options, and I'm like, these are your options.
Yeah.
So then he actually stopped wanting to go see them in person. Like, because we had seen like 5 or 6 houses, he was able to tell from photos, like, no, or this one was in that neighborhood I didn't like, or so he wasn't being needy. But then he would start like responding to the emails from MLS, and he would say, is this one really 190?
Oh, the prices were going up.
The prices were going up. The prices were going up. And I was like, yeah, they are. And finally, I just said, Erwin, listen, unless you're willing to change your budget, we're not going to find something that you're happy with.
That you want.
And he was like, you're right. I'm just going to stay put. I said, well, I hate that for you. but I understand. And if something changes, I'm here.
Yeah, let me know.
But I had to tell him what you want is not available in our market.
Right. And you continuing to try, even though you know that is the case, is wasting your time and making you miserable. Like your client is miserable, but you're making yourself miserable.
Yeah.
You can at any point have the conversation that is, hey, we've looked for a year, we've looked for 6 months, we've looked.
Yeah.
This doesn't exist right now, and I can leave you on a search and maybe randomly something will pop up, but I don't foresee that happening.
Right.
And there's nothing that we can do about that.
Until something can change.
Yeah, I think that it's the same as having a seller with unrealistic expectations. You have to be the one that says, hey, listen, that's not actually how our market is. That's not how this process works. That's just not going to happen. Like, we have to be the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Hey friend, the industry is changing and we need to adapt. We're here to help you find the right words to increase transparency and professionalism with your buyers.
We have created for you a buyer brokerage agreement cover letter. This will accompany your buyer brokerage agreement and make it more approachable to the consumer as you communicate your value.
Here's what you'll get inside of the letter: your commitments to buyers detailing how you will serve them,
the buyer loyalty agreement that explains the buyer rules,
transparency on how buyers' agents get paid,
and a call to action to sign the buyer rep agreement.
You can find more information and get your hands on that letter at hustlehumblypodcast.com/BBA.
Like buyer's brokerage agreement. Cheers to transparency and increased professionalism.
All right, next one.
I thought this one was interesting because it says, handling buyer objections that everything is so expensive, because in her market, rent is about a third of the cost of a mortgage.
Yeah, so I actually had a follow-up email with this Q&A.
Oh.
And I want to tell you what she said. She said where she is, which was in California somewhere, I will say. Rent was like, she said, in my area, it's not really big, like super populated, but rent is about $3,500. And a mortgage for that exact same house would be $10,000 to $12,000.
Oh my gosh. You know, we are in a market where it is not cheaper to buy.
Depending on where and depending
in our market,
and
anyway.
Depending on where you are. So I think it's really hard to handle an objection that is not, you can't refute that.
No.
Yes, your rent is less.
Sometimes the right answer is to say, if you don't have what you need for your down payment to make you feel comfortable financially, maybe then you do need to rent.
I think that the only other angle you can take with this is say, well, while that is true, if you're comfortable, like I understand it's going to cost more, but if you can make the payment, if you're approved and you can make the payment for, whatever, let's just say maybe you find a house that's not as nice as your rental, but it's yours and you're paying $6,000 a month instead of $10,000. If you want to do that and you plan to stay there for 5, 10, 15 years, it will eventually pay off that as your house is going to appreciate.
Yeah.
You're never going to own your rental, right? The money you pay is not this, you're not building equity. You're not putting it towards your mortgage. Now, if you literally can't afford the difference between rent and what it costs to buy a house where you are, you can't do it.
Right.
But if you can afford paying a little more, but in the long run, you own something, it is an investment, right? Yeah. I think that would be the only angle you could successfully take with someone who's like, look, it's so much more than my rent. You have to be like, I know, but at the end of it, you have a
house. Yeah.
It's yours. No one can take it from you if you pay that whole mortgage.
In a market where things are so expensive, like right now, I tell my clients, when you talk to your lender, don't focus on like the number you're pre-approved for, tell them the max monthly note that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
What is that number? Mm-hmm. Because if that number is $300, it doesn't matter that you're approved for $330.
No.
So if whatever the max is, that's when we know this is our hard stop.
Yeah.
Hard stop.
Yeah.
You're going to be more uncomfortable than you were renting.
Yeah.
But at least we know now, like I tell them, if you focus on the monthly note, that's what's important. Maybe we can refinance later, but you have to act like maybe not.
Well, right.
Like your insurance could go up.
Yes.
And your monthly note could be higher.
Right. In this instance, you really are looking at the basis level. Is the pain and sacrifice worth it? Is owning a home important to you? Do you want to have that investment? Like
having these conversations with your buyers, especially your first timers, is so important right now when the market is this tough.
And as much as we want everyone that comes through as a lead to transact, they just all can't and won't.
Mm-mm.
And it's going to have to be okay for us to just be honest with them and try and figure out what's best for them.
Yeah.
All right. Were we skipping on this?
What's it say?
Okay. The next one was they'd like a refresh on the talking points, educating buyers in a less chaotic market. So I guess a more normal market, to ensure that the real estate market is still a great investment, especially over renting right now.
Well, that's what we just covered.
Same as what we just talked about. But
Yeah.
you see, it's not just happening it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, we are getting emails from all over the country that this is what agents are struggling with.
Yeah, and I think the thing with this one too is I can't reassure. I'm not here to preach the wonders of home ownership.
Right.
I like home ownership, but I think it's been great for my personal investment. But if that's not something that the person you're talking to is comfortable, I don't know that you could just change their mind.
Yeah.
If they have an objection, they might have a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really want to convince anyone of anything.
I had a client a few years ago who was a young guy also going through a very yucky divorce.
Okay.
And he got into a rental. I sold their house from the divorce, and I had actually helped them buy it.
Okay.
So he called me to sell it. I did. And he went to a rental. He was like, look, money is so tight right now.
Yeah.
6 months later, he reaches out to me and is like, hey, I am not in a hurry, but my lease is going to be coming up in a few months. And I think I need to explore the possibility of buying.
Okay.
Just so I'm not throwing money away. So I'm like, that's totally fine. So he gets back with his lender, gets pre-approved by himself. It's a low number. I give him the talk. Look, I don't know if you're going to like the houses that this will get you. I don't know if this is what you want to live in condition wise. Like, we're just going to have to see what it gets you.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, well, I'm not in a hurry. I can always renew my lease.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but he just all of a sudden was like, we had that talk and I thought, okay, we're on the same page. And then he was like, we have to go see this house this weekend. I really like this house. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay. Okay. So we go through the house. It's the only one that I've shown him since he's been approved. I don't love it. I see just a lot of maintenance. He's like, but it matches my monthly note. I'm like, I hear you, but this siding is not good. You maybe have a few years left. This roof, these windows, like you need to have a good bit of savings to own this home. Do you have that? He's like, no, but I can just do things over time, like this and that. I'm like, I literally was trying to talk him out of it.
You're like, I don't think this is a good idea.
And then he was like, I want to make an offer. So I'm like, Alyssa, you said your piece.
Yeah, it's not for you to decide.
So he bought it. 4 months after closing, he calls me. I can't afford the house. How fast can we sell it?
Oh, no.
I'm like, no. And so we got it back on the market. Like, it's not in better condition, and
he couldn't afford to do anything.
It looks like a bachelor lives there because it does with its dog.
Did he sell it?
So we got it under contract, and then the buyer canceled during inspections.
Oh.
And then we're back on the market, and we have a new buyer right now. But like, I'm doing my best that he doesn't have to bring money to the table.
Right.
So that's another thing too, when you're consulting with these buyers, is like, how long do you see yourself here?
Right.
If you need to sell this house in a year, I can't make you any promises.
No.
Houses are long-term investments.
Correct.
So if you think you might move out of state in a year, why don't you find a rental?
Yeah.
In this tough market, I've started many of my buyer consultations with, like, after hearing their story and their timeframes and their budgets and what they want, saying, listen, I know it's my job to sell houses, but it's also my job to just educate you, let you know what the market is, and then you get to make the decision if you still want to do this.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's okay.
Yeah,
You just need to make an educated decision.
for sure.
And that's what our job is as agents. Our job is not to sell a house.
No.
Our job is to educate them, tell them the truth, be the boss, speak with confidence, show them the data.
Yeah.
And what they do after that, that's up to them.
Yeah, not my life.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to recap these in-person conversations in
via
an email. Because I've had to use that a few times. Like, do you remember when I advised that you can't sell this in a year?
Especially when you're Looky Loo type, keep pushing back and asking you to do something you've already explained why we're not doing that. I think having it in writing is huge.
Hold your ground, and you need to say what you need to say.
Yeah, we just can't be so desperate for the deal that we're like, I'll just keep trying. The diminishing returns don't bother me.
Yeah.
I'll just keep going.
And any other agent who was desperate or just feeling like this is what you're supposed to do because you're in real estate and you finally have a lead.
Yeah.
Like, I think about this couple that's not on the same page that I haven't heard from since I sent the BBA.
Right.
I could have texted her many times and been like, hey, are you going to sign?
Yeah, you could have pushed.
I could have pushed. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
No.
If she wants to sign it, sign it.
Right.
If not,
if they want to be easy, you'll take them. If they're going to continue to be who they are,
I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to push you to sign this thing.
You quiet quit on them.
I quiet quit. And if they come back and
that's fine.
Want to work together, I'll help you.
Yeah.
But it's going to be under my terms as how I run my business.
I think that's fair.
And if they walk away, I will be annoyed, but I'm not going to have regrets.
No, and I think that's fine because at some point you should be proud of yourself that you said no more.
Yeah.
Even though you maybe let it go too long, you finally did stand your ground.
I feel for the agent from the first story because you don't know it's been 7 years until it's been 7 years.
I know. And then you feel like, well, I did close it, so I need it. I mean, I want the close, but it's like, if we work out how much time we spend with someone, what is that actually paying you per hour?
Yeah.
If it's less than minimum wage, maybe we don't want to do that. Do you want to hear the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. This person is looking for tips on providing value and step-by-step buyer consultation with all the new, list information we have to cover in the beginning. I struggle with covering everything and feel like things get left out and have to go back later to discuss. I have all the programs and email templates, that help a ton. But at that initial meeting, how do you talk about value, inspections, loans, steps? Make sure you understand everything they need and want.
It sounds like she may need a checklist of the most important things.
Right.
I also think it's important to read the buyer while you're going over everything.
Right.
When their eyes glaze over and they're not listening anymore, it's time. I do like to remind them, hey, I know this is a lot of information. Good news. You don't really have to remember all of it because I'm going to remind you, I'm going to track our deadline.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you miss a deadline.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you know when things are due, how things are going.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you.
I think this is a consult, not a breakdown per se, but maybe just like we need to restructure.
Yeah.
Okay, here's first and foremost, I try to keep this quick. We got to move quick because it's true. People will glaze over if you just keep droning on and on and on about the steps in the process, but still they need to know it, right? Okay. Yeah. When I do my buyer presentation, it is in the form of a folder, right?
Yes.
I have the different page in the folder for each of the things I want to talk about. When I get to the page that is my resume or my vendor list or the, lead-based paint disclosure, whatever it is, I am not reading it to them word for word.
Yeah.
But I am giving them the high level. This is the vendor list. I've got some great people on there for inspections. When we get to that, I have, painters. If you need some work on the house after you get in here, it's all here. Then we move. That took me 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move on to the next. But the pages that are inside of my folder are not for looks. They are to remind me what I need to say to my buyer during that consultation. And then they take it with them. So if they want to read more or go back to it, fine. I have a steps to making your purchase. In my words, they are short, 20 steps.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the folder. And I say, here are your steps to making a purchase.
And don't worry, I'm going to be doing these steps with you.
Yeah. And then they can go back and read it again. I've usually already sent that one time in our original email. Like I think it would be false for me to say, you're not going to have to ever revisit something with a buyer.
Oh, no. Yeah. You have to.
I'm going to do my best to tell them everything they need to know at their consultation. Then we're going to send all the email templates that are appropriate for each step of the process. But yes, they might have a question of something I know I already told them.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm forgetting anything because I always follow the same process.
You have a system.
I have a system. I do not waver.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is getting the same consultation. Everyone is getting the same email templates.
Yes.
All of the information is housed in there. If something comes up, things are always changing.
Yeah.
You add it to your template, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just make a change to your process. And then the next time you don't have to worry about it.
The buyer consultation episode is really good.
Yeah.
Just Google like Hustle Humbly buyer consultation episode.
Yeah, we'll
and
put it in
should
the
pop
show
up.
notes.
Yeah, I can't remember which episode number.
I don't remember the number.
It'll be in the
either.
show notes.
Yeah,
but it's really good.
You follow your process. And if you follow your process, I don't think.
What is that quote about falling to your, you don't rise?
You don't rise to the level of your goals. You sink to the level of your systems.
Yeah. You may have great, amazing goals, but you're only as good as the systems you have in place.
Yeah. And if you have a system, it will just simplify all that. I think it's also important to realize we cannot overwhelm these people with all the information that you know about buying and selling.
Right.
They're going to have to take bits of it along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to tell you every little bit about inspections or loans in my buyer consultation. In fact, I say precious little about loans other than, do you have a lender? Here's the top 10 things not to do while you're getting your loan.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
and some recommendations.
That's the lender's job to answer all your questions about that. I will tell you how long an inspection period is, but I'm not going to talk you through everything that's going to happen at the inspection.
We don't even know what house you're buying yet. How can I tell you these things?
So I think if you start maybe getting it down to the what you actually need at each point,
yes,
then it might be a little easier.
It's almost like the buyer consultation is not to go over the entirety of everything and the whole process, but the consultation is, this is the meeting on how you get started and what to expect.
These are our first steps.
And when it's time for the next steps, I'm going to educate you at that time.
We have to either understand, do, or be done with the first steps.
Yes.
We can't just move on. Oh, wait, now and then step 10.
Yeah.
It's going to be this. And they're going to be like, I don't. What? That's too much.
It is a lot.
All right. You want me to read the last one?
Sure.
Okay. Hi. I have been given a handful of referrals from colleagues who have had inquiries on their listings from unrepped buyers.
Oh, okay.
100% of the time, these folks have been buyers who insist agents are a waste of time and money. Oh, a waste of money and useless.
Useless. Totally useless.
I know my value as an agent, but I struggle to articulate it when faced with someone so set in their ways. Any advice or even a script or a list of one-liners for responses that would be greatly appreciated. I would just love for some tips on what to say to clients, what paperwork I need, whatever. Arranging my commission. It's just all the parts of this.
Yeah.
Maybe even some ideas for how from you all about how to know when you should refer out. You can't refer a referral, first of all.
No.
So if you get a referral from another agent and you're like, this is not going to be a fit for me, you can just politely decline.
And tell that agent it's not working.
Try someone else.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is a fit for me. You're not going to refer out if someone referred to you.
Sure.
Okay. How do you want to handle?
I just had a house I was about to list.
Okay.
Listing papers had actually been signed electronically that morning.
Okay.
We were going to be on the market the next day. My seller sends me a picture of this letter, handwritten card, very nice card that she got in the mail that said, hey, we heard from someone in the neighborhood you're going to be moving. We're very interested in your house. If you would like to save on realtor fees, give us a call. My sweet seller sends me a photo of this and was like, would you like to call Jean? I'm like, sure.
Was it an actual person in the neighborhood?
A real person. Yeah. Not an investor, not a we buy houses, like a real person. So I'm like, hi, is this Jean? Yes, it is. I'm like, okay, great. I'm calling on behalf of so-and-so. She got your card in the mail and that you might be interested in her home. Oh, I'm like, yes, I'm her agent. We're going to be listing it tomorrow, but would you like to see it early? We do already have everything ready to go. And, well, we were just going to see, maybe if she wasn't working with an agent, she could save money. I said, well, I understand what you're saying, but she's fine to pay an agent and you don't have to worry about her money. Would you like to know what the price is? She didn't even know what they were asking. Oh, sure. I tell her, she's like, oh, okay. That's, I'm like, yeah, it's a good price. We priced it well. Would you like to see it? Do you have an agent that you're working with? Well, I don't know. I'm like, okay. She's like, well, if you're going to be involved, then maybe we should have our own representation. I said, you're welcome to. Whatever you want to do. If you would like me to represent you, I can show you the house. If you don't want me to represent you and you just want me to show you the house, I'll show you my listing. If you would like to make a phone call to phone a friend that's an agent to be your agent, go for it. Whatever you want to do is totally fine with me. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. Whatever you want to do. I said, now, if you decide, and so she's like, well, what happens if we become unrepresented? I said, well, in full transparency, my seller will probably pay me more to handle meeting you every time there's a showing, being at the house for the 3-hour home inspection, managing the appraisal, managing the title, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She's like, oh. I'm like, but if you would like to be unrepresented, do you have access to the state contract that if you like it, you could just fill it out and send it over to me? No. I'm like, okay, well, do you want representation? If so, if you have a friend, call them. It's almost like when I try to push them away, they want me back.
Then what happened?
She's like, I don't know what to do. I said, well, do you want to see the house? Are you interested? Yes, we're very interested.
Like, do you want the house or not?
I said, the last thing that needs to happen is your concern over agents getting in the way of you wanting the house. So why don't you let me show it to you?
Yeah.
I said, unrepresented. This is my listing. It's my job to show it to you. Just come. If you decide you want representation after the showing,
go for it.
Go for it. I don't care. And she was like, oh, okay. So they come and they are the nicest, sweetest, most delightful people. And she's like, we really like it. I'm like, okay, well, just let me know what you want to do. She's like, we don't have to be contingent, but we would, if we buy this, need to sell our house. Would you be interested in being our listing agent?
Sure.
And I was like, I'd be happy to. As far as this house goes, just let me know what you decide to do. If you want me to represent you and handle everything, I can do that. If you want to phone a friend, if you have an agent, do that too. Just let me know either way. So she's like, this was so helpful. And I think this just goes to show agents get, and I handled this, not to toot my own horn.
You handled it very well.
I think I handled it so well because I didn't care.
I don't care, lady.
I don't care. I'm not nervous, hoping you use me.
You're not trying to convince her. You were like, go get another agent.
I just
don't have one.
I'm like, here's your options.
Just do whatever you want.
But the biggest thing too was I think I'm so tired of the public telling me that agency and agents got in their way.
Fine. If you want to do X, Y, and Z on your own, you have that right and ability.
Just tell them their options. The more honest you are, they will make the right decision for them. And if that doesn't include you, be okay with that.
Yeah, but I think it's probably best for you to say it and say, I know the value I'm providing to my clients who choose to hire me.
Yes.
And I understand if you don't see that value, but I also then don't want to work with you.
Right.
Like we are not a fit.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to work with someone who doesn't see the value of what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. And it took her meeting me at the showing. We were at the house for like an hour.
Right.
And by the end of it, they wanted to hire me.
Right.
And it's like no pressure. So I think agents sometimes need to check their conversations. Are you being upfront and telling this unrepresented person, hey, did you know what your options are?
Right.
Do you know that these are your options? I'm telling you, if you have a friend that's an agent, call them.
Yeah.
Or don't. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do the paperwork or are you going to need help with it? Like, what do you need?
Yeah. I will tell a funny story about this and then we can move on. I actually, while working on my database, was reaching out to a past client of mine who actually ended up renting out their house and is in a rental themselves. Okay. So I've checked in here and there, but I needed to update their address because they're not staying in the house that they owned. And when I got the address, she said, she asked me a question in the text. And I was like, can I just call and I'll talk you through it? And she's like, yeah. She's like, hey, so we ended up finding in this neighborhood where we're renting this house that needs to be torn down on a lot that we really like and we want to build on. So we went ahead and made an offer and we're under contract. And then she starts asking me all these questions. And I'm like, okay, well, because everything she was asking was just red flag after red flag. Like, you needed an agent.
Yeah.
You did not need to do this on your own. You really are in over your, she was way in over her head. I'm like, well, who wrote this offer for you? Well, the listing agent. I'm like, is a listing agent representing you? Because they're also representing the seller. And she's like, no, he said that he was going to charge less and only represent the seller. And I'm like, okay. But so like basically they hadn't talked to their lender until a week before closing. It turned out they obviously needed a land loan, which their lender was a mortgage broker and couldn't do that type of loan.
Oh, no.
They had to do a very long extension. And I'm like, she said, well, the seller said it's fine and just take our time, whatever we needed. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have a new closing date in writing? Did you sign an extension? When does your inspection period end? I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, here, I told her what she needed to know. And I said, but listen, you needed an agent to represent you. I can't really, there's nothing I can do to help you now. Yeah. And to further twist that sweet knife in my back, she mentions while we're on the call that her tenant who was in the house that I had sold her and they had moved out of, they ended up selling the house to her. Oh. Obviously without any agents involved. Yeah, because the tenant was already there. So I was like, oh, well, okay. So they took the money they made off that house. They're going to go buy this lot. And I'm like, I
didn't win here.
Okay. But they didn't win either.
Right.
Because the way, from what I heard, I'm not certain that it will close.
Yeah.
So, and there were so many parts to that story that I didn't share, but I'm like, you needed an agent.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't fix it for you now.
Yeah.
She's like, I knew I don't know what we were thinking.
And it goes to show it's not our, like, they're not doing it because they hated you.
No.
They didn't hate Katie and say, we're going to cut Katie out.
No.
Buyers do things that while we know are not correct, they do them. They call the wrong people. They click the Zillow button. They do things that they don't realize they're doing. Yeah. They sign things. They just want to see the house. They don't realize.
They string you along thinking that you're getting paid by some mythical employer.
Yes.
They don't know.
They don't understand. And unless you come out and say, you needed an agent, or do you want an agent? Call a friend, or I can help you, or you can be by yourself, whatever you want to do. We have to be the boss of whatever is going on in the transaction to speak the truth and then be at peace with what they say. And we must, for the love of the Lord, stop taking things so personal.
I know.
We can't take it personal. Does it hurt? Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I'm even going to be hurt if these string-alongers, Looky Loos, leave me.
They might.
But I'm also hoping they do.
You're half ghosted already.
I know. I'm just letting it take its natural course.
But that's the thing I think other people feel about Looky Loos. But what if they do buy a house in 4 years? So I want to be like, so? It doesn't mean it. Maybe what if they don't?
Yeah.
People always focus on they might buy a house later. So I hate to take them off my database. I hate to tell the Looky Loo I can't.
One more story.
Okay.
This is about someone we know. I'm going to show you the name.
Okay.
Know the name?
Uh-huh.
So years ago, we were in the same neighborhood. And I served on the HOA committee, which is how I got to know her. And she was just like, oh my gosh, she's always so like, oh, you're so great. I think she's like that with everybody.
You're so great.
You're so great. She's like, if you ever see a house come up in this neighborhood, let me know.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So I set up a search. Okay. Never, I don't BCC.
You don't know what's going on.
I'm just sending it to her.
Okay.
Then she's like, oh my gosh. Every now and then she would respond. And I'm like, are you looking to move? I don't know. Looky Loo. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. So fast forward, every now and then she would send me a house. I would look it up. We never once went and saw anything.
Yeah.
I listed a house. This has been years, okay? Like 8 years that we've on and off. I have wasted no time. Put it this way.
You just set up a search.
I just set up a search.
Let
for
it run
her.
its course.
Yeah, not a big deal. But I listed a house in a neighborhood, not the neighborhood she had said.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so interesting because one day, out of the blue, I get a text from her
Mm-hmm.
of the stained glass in that house.
Mm-hmm. Inside of your listing.
Inside of my listing.
Your Looky Loo was inside of your listing.
The Looky Loo was inside of my listing.
Mm-hmm.
To which I go to showing time to see. I knew we had an appointment that day at that time. So obviously it was her. So I'm like, who's the agent?
Yeah.
I look it up. No one I know, no one, I don't know, just an agent. And I'm like, okay. They leave feedback. Nice home, not interested.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, great. But I'm like, she's clearly working with someone.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
But it goes to show, like, she thought, I'm going to send Alyssa a picture to let her from inside
I'm in your listing, and you're thinking, well,
I could have been the agent that's like, but I set you up on a search and you called me when you wanted more information on a house, and
What
now
are you
you're
doing?
using another agent to look at this house. Like, I could have been devastated.
yeah, you could have been.
But I wasn't.
No, definitely not.
Not with this situation.
I mean, that's true.
but this is just an example that this is what buyers do.
That's what they do.
And if you're not going to be confident enough to like enforce and take the steps and set the rules and run your business like a business, it's going to continue.
Yeah, they'll just walk all over you.
All your clients will be that way.
Yeah.
If you don't, like, thankfully, because we have systems in place, we don't encounter this often.
No.
But I feel bad for the agents where this is all their clients.
Yeah.
All their clients are rogue because
There are no rules.
There's no rules.
No rules.
This was good.
I'll say. It was needed. It was needed.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear a toast.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Hi, my name is Sydney. I'm an agent in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I would like to toast my mom for always believing in me and giving me the courage to start in this extremely crazy industry. And I'd also like to toast my broker and good friend, Kyle Fry, for answering unlimited phone calls, texts, emails, and door knocks for the last 3 years and teaching me just about everything I know to this day in real estate. So cheers to you both.
Wait, before you go, if you enjoyed this episode and if we brought you value, take a minute to rate the show, leave a review, or drop a comment.
We are giving away our best stuff for free. Find it at hustlehumblypodcast.com/freebies.
We'd also love to see you in Hustle Humbly community. Join us there at hustlehumblypodcast.com/membership.
We love chatting with you in our DMs. Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast and say hello.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly Podcast. See you next week.